beautiful peoples. Welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me, my name is Victoria. I also sometimes go by Vicky, and today we are going to be talking about contouring. I'm going to talk through me contouring my own face, and then I will do a little teeny bits of talking about contouring different face shapes because it's not all the same. Other than that, let's just get right on into this thing. I have right here, this is the KVD Shade and Light Powder Contour Kit. Today I will be using this middle shade as well as this cooler shade. Using the middle one as a bronzer and the cooler one for really contouring. So I don't have any contour or anything on my face. I just have like foundation and a little bit of powder, nothing too serious. So I'm going to start off with this bigger, fluffier brush right here, and this is going to be the brush that I'm going to use for bronzer. I'm going to dip it into the middle shade about 4 to 5 times. I'm going to put it towards the back here because that's where I would want the most product, and swipe forward and then blend it out in circular motions. And bronzer is meant to be kind of an all-over thing where you would be bronzed from the sun, so I go in bigger circular motions just to give a nice even blown out application. So I'll be going back into the shade now and doing it up here around the temple area. I will be connecting from here to here. So you can right now kind of already see the difference that gives to my face. On this side I am looking a tiny bit more like on the slim side. This one you can just see like it's just all one big flat shade. So I'm going to again dip back into the middle shade. And now I'm going to apply it here on my jawbone right where it touches my ear, and then drag it down to about the corner of my mouth. And then again the circular motions to give that nice buffed blown out look so we don't have any harsh lines. And I just really like to go back and forth over all of it, make sure there's no spots I miss, nothing left unblended, and it's seamless and put together. So you can see that on the one side right there. Now I'm going to do it on the other side of my face and I will be right back. So now that I have it both on even sides of my face, I just take the tiniest whatever's left on the brush. I don't apply any more product, and just go over the jawbone a tiny bit more. Again, making sure everything is seamless and blended. I take a tiny bit and I'll go over my nose. Maybe if there's anything left, it'll give a tiny bit of a hint there. Alright, so that'll be it for this brush. I won't be using this guy anymore. So for my next brush that I'm going to be applying the more cool tone shade right here with. You could use 2 brushes in my opinion. I used to always use this one, which is a little bit fluffy with dash cat hair, and then it has an angled, so you get this little tapered one. Or I also have this one right here, which is the one I'm going to be using today, and it is more of a just like a nice tapered dome effect. So you could use either one of these. If I was using this one, I would really only be applying product to like this end so I could get in there with that nice area, so that I could get in there with that nice little point that it has. So with this one though, I'm going to lightly dab it into the product, and I have the smallest amount of product on this brush. I don't have it all over, I just have it on the very upper portion because I really just want to build up this product. I don't want it to be completely harsh first going on and then I have to try to really buff it out. So start off small and then we can build up. So I'm going to place it in the back. You always want to start in the back because that's where you would have the most shadows, either from your hair being down, or if the light is hitting you from front on, it's always going to be darkest towards the backs, if that makes sense. So start here and then moving downwards. And with this little brush, I'm not going to be doing big circular motions because I want this to stay in a more concentrated area. So we're just going to go back and forth, going to dip in and do that one more time. See, again, not a lot of product on there towards the end. And voila! That is my cheek contour. Shoo! And you want to make sure you're not doing at a super downward angle. You're always going to start from right around your ear. So I start right here on my ear, and then you want to make sure it's not going too harshly down. You really want to mimic it where your cheekbone would be, and it's always going to finish kind of around the pupil of your eye, if that makes sense. You don't want to bring it too far in, because it's gonna make you just like way too much, if that makes sense. I mean, if that's your thing, do your thing. But just for like my everyday kind of look, this is what I would be going for right here. So another trick too, if you're having problems trying to find maybe your cheekbone, take your brush, especially if you have a round brush like this, it's round, and roll it and you'll feel it sink and divot in, and that would be exactly where I applied the product at. Hope that makes sense. Like I said before, I'm all about the layering. So I'm going to, again, just dab the top of this in there, and then go over just here to really deepen and darken towards the back. And I'm going to do that again on the jawline area. So pretty much everywhere that we place that bronzer. And I'm going to take a tiny bit more and I'm going to connect it a little bit more in this area. So that way it looks a tiny bit more seamless. I can see a much bigger difference in the cheek area. In like my viewfinder, you can definitely see a difference a lot in the cheek area, maybe not so much here. I notice it in person. But yeah, so here is that. I will go ahead and do the other side and be right back. So that is going to be that portion completed for contouring. The next thing is going to be my nose. Let me go ahead and show you some brushes that I personally use myself. So I have this one right here. It is technically a concealer brush. It's this wide on this side and then it gets skinny on this part. It also, I don't know how well you'll be able to see this, it also has like a tapered, goes into kind of a, almost like a diamond shape. It definitely tapers in right there. Or another brush if you don't have one, because I know like this is not a brush that I see all the time, would be this little tiny guy. I guess you would maybe consider this a little fluffy pencil brush. You can see it is much smaller, but it still does a super good job. This is what I was using before I got this. I will go ahead and contour my nose with this one because I feel like this is a more readily available brush for you guys to get. So again, I am dipping that into the more cool tone shade right here. Very lightly. The last thing I want is a super harsh nose contour. My cat is purring and rubbing her slobbery face all over my leg. Good times. So like I said, I'm going to dip very lightly into that product, knock off any excess, and then go to town. I'm going to start, I'm going to put my, no, I'm not, I lied, so sorry. I'm going to start in this center area right here, which might seem a little bit weird, but I have a little tiny bump on my nose where my cartilage is right there. So that is going to be where I want the most product to give the illusion that that little tiny bump isn't there. And then start working this product in. For the way that I really enjoy contouring my nose, I start with it more wide to where it is my eyebrow, and then I work it in kind of a V shape. So I want to give the appearance of a cute button nose. Now I'm going to place it right here on the bottom part. Just go back and forth. This is going to give the illusion that my nose is a tiny bit shorter than it actually is. So when you're contouring, for those of you who don't know, contouring obviously is going to take away, and so it will be giving more definition, so it's going to make my cheeks look more prominent and more higher. And so this is kind of like giving the appearance that my nose is smaller in these areas, taking away from the subject where my light skin would be. So now I'm going to go on top right here. I know it's probably kind of weird for you guys to see, but it's just right here at the tip of my, right above the tip of my nose. Kind of where I ended the contour on the bridge part. and I'm going to go in a very soft rainbow shape and then blend more V-shape into the rainbow part. Applying no more product as well. It's the same product that was on the rainbow part. This is going to be very extra of me. You don't have to do this. I don't really know anybody else who does it. It's just something that I really enjoy doing. I also like to go around my little nostril parts, little sides of my nostril, and outline that to make them appear even smaller too, because I like having a really small appearing nose. I'm being super careful around my piercing because it's new and I can't have any makeup in the piercing, so I'm being super careful on that side. And I'm just connecting the two little bottom and top with no extra product. So to me it looks a little harsh in the viewfinder, but it looks really good in person, which is a little unfortunate. So I'm going to take now a clean brush because some of my brushes are really dirty. I'm going to take this one I showed you earlier and I'm just going to buff out anything that I feel like looks a little bit too harsh, especially up in the eyebrow area. I want it to be super faded up here. So when I'm feeling extremely extra, I would also take a little bit on the same brush and underneath my lip right here, I would apply it in a very small area right in the center and maybe only like 1/4 of an inch. And that just gives a tiny bit of a shout out. My lip is even fuller than it looks before. So that will do it. This is going to be my full face of contouring on myself. So I will just be going over quickly on other face shapes. You can always pull up, I see them all over Pinterest, I'm sure it's on Instagram, you can just Google it too, contouring for face shapes. It really helps. The biggest thing is figuring out your face shape in general. I feel like personally I have, on uncontoured especially, I have more of a square face shape. Like I'm wide here and definitely wide here. So that's why I contour here, here, and here. Somebody who also has maybe more of a heart shape, they would also be contouring more of this because everybody's going kind of for that one look. It really helps to look and see what your face shape is, figure that out, and see what contouring will work best and make your features pop the most for the face shape that you have. Especially if you have like a small forehead. Like I feel like I kind of have a small forehead, but I know people who have an even smaller forehead. They don't need to make their forehead look any smaller than it is like I was doing, so they would totally skip that step. Or some people, you know, aren't going to have to contour their jaw. I think for the majority, mostly everybody will usually contour their cheeks. So yeah, I think that about wraps it up. Feel free to ask me any more questions about contouring or maybe even face shapes down in the comments. I will always get back to you guys. I hope you guys have an amazing weekend and hopefully learn something new. I will link my social media below. Like I would love to be friends on Instagram and on Twitter. I use those quite a bit. Other than that, I will let you guys go. Hopefully see you guys next weekend-ish, and I hope to see you guys soon. Bye!